The highway disappeared beneath 20 tons of squid. A Florida man allegedly smashed a fake surveillance camera while the police were watching. What in the blue hell happened this week? This is the top 9. Don't you know, can't you hear, won't you see Gene here alive and in living color right here on the YouTube presenting to you? Gene Has Concerns. Top 9. And boy, we got some stories for you this week, that's for sure. So now let me go ahead and get started here with number 9 right away. And number 9 consists of, and excuse me, I'm going to butcher this name, but Göbekli Tepe. Yeah, see, I told you. Göbekli Tepe may have had homes. Now, if you kept up with archaeology or anything, you know in Turkey, there's these different sites that they're finding out to be 11,000 years old. And now they've actually found what looked like could have been homes around some of these temples in Turkey. In Turkey themselves, the tepes, they've got these carved pillars going up and such. And it was once portrayed mainly as a ceremonial gathering place built by the hunters and gatherers. But it's looking like now the geophysical surveys have detected traces of several large buildings in the area. And we can see right here, researchers say the internal layout suggests some of the buildings may have been dwellings during at least part of the site's long history. They don't know, I don't think they know necessarily yet when in the time frame, but the Göbekli Tepe was a living community, not merely a prehistoric destination people visited for ceremonies. So the stuff they're finding there is just amazing, and knowing that they had this type of life 11,000 years ago it just blows my mind. But apparently, that long ago, people wanted to live close enough to the attraction to avoid the morning commute, so to speak. So that's how we got through with that back then. Now let's go to number 8. That's a holy wow moment for sure. But let's go to number 8 now. And number 8 is Nashville hospital medication mix-up. This is pretty scary. 4 patients undergo joint replacement procedures at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown in Nashville. And, they were affected by a medication error back in mid-August. Families say potassium was put into syringes instead of Bupi vaccine or vaccine. I'm not sure that word. Bupivacaine. An anesthetic insisted, and I'm just butchering these words. Anesthetic intended for epidural pain control. I need a doctor to come translate this. And the hospital has confirmed that 4 patients were harmed, and paralyzed, basically, with this. And one family says 72-year-old Glenda Dorton was left paralyzed from the chest down after her knee replacement surgery. And reports say that at least one other patient who was left paralyzed, but the hospital has not released the medical details of that patient per privacy laws. But this is just nuts. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the wrong limb being cut off, or things like that. And wow, Tennessee Health Facilities Commission, and Tennessee Bureau of Investigations are investigating. And this isn't a joke. I mean, can you imagine? I'm just going in for a knee, because my knee doesn't work right. I'm going in for a knee replacement, and walk out. I can't move. I can't. Oh my God! And I don't know if it's permanent or not. Anybody finds out if stuff like this is permanent, definitely leave a comment on that. But that's just nuts. All right, let's go on to number 7 now. And number 7 is Florida drunk man. Oh, great, Florida again. Florida drunk man calls 911 on the deputy. Seminole County's 70-year-old junk man, Alan Davis, you can look him up on Google. I guess he's had a few stories about him, was pulled over after a deputy said he ran a stop sign. Davis allegedly refused to provide the license and insisted that he was not driving despite being the only person inside the vehicle and sitting behind the wheel. Yeah, that really works. He then called 911 and claimed that an armed officer was carjacking him. And here we see old Alan here. Davis later said he had placed the deputy under citizen's arrest and called 911 to have the officer picked up. Instead, Davis was arrested on on charges involving unlicensed driving, resisting without violence, and misuse of 911. And, this man called the police on the police so the police could arrest the police. Dumbassery at its finest, I think. Now let's move on to number 6. And 24 tons of squid shuts down a road. A tractor trailer overturned while making a turn on, here's one of these other words, Narragansett, Rhode Island, in that city in Rhode Island, spilling more than 40 pounds of squid across the roadway. The squid backed up every lane while temperatures climbed above 80 degrees. Oh, God. The driver and passenger were not injured, but the intersection remained closed for nearly 8 hours. And here we can see one scene. It's not a close-up of the squids, but crews used heavy machinery and used a dump truck to escape what the police nicknamed as Squidopulus of 26. God, Rhode Island's official appetizer is calamari, but God, the smell of that must have been just one smelly situation there. And speaking of smelly situations, Gene has concerns with the way you smell. Oh, no. I'm not talking about that you stink or anything, but come on. Don't you want to smell nice? Don't you want to smell pretty? Don't you want to smell the best you can? Well, see that barcode right there, that QR code, scan that, or go to the websites I was mentioned just a second and check out these pocket perfume and pocket cologne. That's right. They're just a little bit shaped differently than chapstick, fit right in your pocket. And they're made of 100% organic wax. And, these things are just too cool. It's non-liquid, TSA friendly, and, swipe down directly in the area of the skin that you want. And, things are just too cool. And my friend Lisa Griggs went right through TSA without a problem because she doesn't have a bottle of perfume spray. We've had someone who took an Uber and she used hers, and the Uber driver said, "Oh, what's that?" And he's so excited because he's tired of these girls getting in his car, and then putting his car with the spray. They're just hype with it. And this is Mademoiselle right here. I'm putting my hand. And then, so you've got tobacco vanilla, and there's so many different, inspired by nose flavors, as I like to call them. But you definitely got to check this out. And it's so simple to use. I mean, literally, you just go and roll it up just a little bit, put a little bit on your wrist, rub it in, and that smells so good. So, and all you got to do is go to genehasperfume.com or genehascologne.com and check them out. Less than $15, or if you want to get on subscription, you get 2 of them, his and hers maybe, for $24.99 a month, and then that's free shipping. So, got to check these things out. These are too cool. So, now let's move on to number 5. And number 5 is Darth Vader takes on San Diego City Hall. Yes, you heard that right. The man dressed as Darth Vader appeared during public comment at a San Diego City Council committee meeting. The meeting involved the city's use of flock automated license plate surveillance cameras. There's still going to be a video coming next few weeks about flock cameras that I'll be doing, so stay tuned. And Vader sarcastically supported the cameras as exactly the kind of surveillance technology that the Galactic Empire would appreciate. And here we see the man right here in his Vader outfit. He said the technology would help locate Luke Skywalker and follow the rebel scum. Beneath the comedy was a serious criticism of privacy risk, including cameras tracking children and the potential for people to with access to misuse the system. And we've already seen some misuse lately, but now there's even flock cameras locking down things a little bit better. And there probably needs to be some rules, regulations, and laws around that so that people aren't misusing it, like police tracking down their exes and stuff. And, when Darth Vader shows up, it's to warn you your surveillance system may be a little too invasive. Perhaps it's time to review the privacy policy. And yeah, I'm all for flock cameras and the reasons why they should be used. But yes, let's get things down and get them locked down so that we are definitely, secure and maintaining people's privacy. So now then, number 4. NASA shows us SpaceX's new moon crater. And we talked about this last week. And I showed you the video of it. Maybe it was week 4, I don't remember. But it discarded SpaceX Falcon 9 upper stage struck the moon on August 5th at roughly 5,400 miles per hour. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has now photographed the impact site, and the collision created a crater approximately 50 feet wide and less than 10 feet deep. And here's a shot of before and after. And you can kind of see the center left, there's a big crater there. And then in the other picture, you see the same crater just off center to the right, and you see that impact right next to it. It almost got a hole in one. Wouldn't that be funny if it would have hit that crater precisely? But made a new crater there. You kind of see the how things go. And let me go ahead and move this over here. And it is all the way zoomed in all the way. So that's the best I can zoom in on that. But, that's pretty wild. Humanity's officially reached the point where we're leaving abandoned rocket parts and impact damage on another world. Yeah, we got there. Now, let's move on to number 3. HMS Tiger found 118 years after it sunk. Divers have identified the wreck of HMS Tiger, a Royal Navy destroyer lost off England's Isle of Wight in 1908. During nighttime training exercises, Tiger moved into the path of the much larger HMS Berwick and was struck amid-ship, I assume, midway, like that. Tiger broke into 2 sections and sank repeatedly, killing 35 of its 57 crew members. And right here we see a shot of the divers diving over the scene of the wreck. And this is pretty cool. They found this, and of course, then I'm sure it becomes a memorial site of some type. And the project Explorer team spent several years studying archives, scanning the seabed, and conducting technical dives before confirming the wreck. Its 2 main sections were found about 450 feet apart and at a depth of roughly 200 feet. Divers placed a wreath on the wreck to honor the sailors who died there. And this is our holy wow story of the week, I think. Finding something like this it's another cool moment. Now let's move on to number 2. One in Florida. Oh, Florida. Come on, I live here. One in Florida man hides under a mattress. Police were looking for 24-year-old Segre Nombi on an active felony battery warrant when they went to his mother's home in Winter Haven, Florida. His mother, Mia Jones, couldn't have the same name, couldn't have the same last name, initially said that he was not there, but officers noticed a very suspicious lump underneath the mattress. When they found him, Nombre, I guess would be the way to pronounce it, allegedly started yelling for his mommy. And we see right here, mother and son, not together, but together in their mugshots right here. Police say Mae Jones then grabbed an officer and swung at a sergeant while they were trying to arrest her son. Officers used a taser, and police say they found suspected methamphetamine concealed under her breast. Both mother and son were arrested, and these are allegations in their arrest report. That's all they are right now. And you were hiding under a mattress, yelling for your mommy. I mean, holy wow. You're 24 years old. Really? And then, mommy, do not jump into a fight with police when you've got drugs on you underneath your boob. Yeah. Dumbassery at its finest for sure, times 2. Now then, let's move on to number 1. And this is another flock camera story, and it's another Florida story. Florida man smashes fake camera police planted as bait. After several flock surveillance cameras were stolen in Oviedo, Florida, police installed replica cameras that looked real but could not collect license plate data. The decoys were bait, and officers monitored them to see whether someone would try to destroy another camera. Because, they're spray painting them now. They're beating them with bats or hatchets, I hear. And less than 3 hours later, police say 24-year-old Evan Mayer approached one dressed in black with gloves and a face covering and pruning shears. Yeah. Mayer allegedly knocked the replica from its pole and smashed it into several pieces. A sergeant watching the bait camera reportedly saw the entire thing and stopped him as he ran away. Mayer allegedly told investigators that the surveillance cameras made him feel as though there was a constant eye watching. Well, that's everywhere you go now. Department store, 7-Eleven, the stoplight cameras, now the flock cameras. Just everywhere you go, the ATM. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, and the camera he destroyed could not watch anybody. The police were watching, so this was still a crime because he destroyed, this property. And you can debate surveillance and privacy all day long, but, walking directly into a police bait operation earns you the number 1 position of, that's right, the flaming idiot of the week. So, Mr. Mayor, congratulations. And that's the top 9 this week. I hope you enjoyed it. And did I rank them right? Did I get the right stories in there? Leave me some comments. Let me know how you feel. And lastly, let me remind you about the road to $1 billion. Share this with your friends. Share this with your family. Share this with everybody you can. That, we definitely, I definitely want you to be a billionaire. And by billionaire, I definitely mean one of my subscribers. As I'm on a road to $1 billion, I want to be the first human being on earth to become a billionaire. And with that, I'm going to need your help. So subscribe, like, share, laugh, everything. Give me a subscribe. I'm at 128 now. You do the math. And I want to be a billion subscriber on YouTube. I want to be the first one. Anyway, have fun, and always remember, Gene has concern.